So, welcome to the podcast, guys. I just want to say really quick, what is cool about this podcast is it's helping people from like every stage of life right here. You know, there's me who's kind of like the grinding entrepreneur who's still trying to like find his like level of desired success and like getting through those pitfalls and those troubled times. But then there's people out there that are very liquid, very successful, that are tuning in. And then we have people that are still dreaming about even taking action for the first time, you know. I think there's a lot of information on this show that can help just about anybody. So, and that's our approach. This show is for, you know, if you live in Florida specifically, I mean, this is probably a good show to tune into, you know. So
I think so.
yeah. I mean, you're not biased, so it's fine.
I'm not biased. No, I'm not biased at all.
Right. But Randy, I think today you want to talk about real estate.
I do, and you know, as some of our listeners may know, I've got a real estate license, had it for several years now, and I've done a lot of things in real estate myself, and then myself and a good friend of mine named Anthony Canaris. We have a real estate team over at Berkshire Hathaway. All of us have our license there. We've got several other folks on the team that focus on residential, and Anthony does residential and commercial. I focus on commercial, industrial, and business brokering with my CPA background. The business brokering fits right in there, and it kind of, I'm helping clients that we've had for years come up with values for their business, sell their businesses, or helping clients buy businesses, or just, you know, people that I haven't ever transacted business with, help them buy or sell their business. So, one of the things that we're hearing a lot when it comes to real estate, especially residential real estate, is what's going on in the market. You know, for the last 2 years here in Florida, prices have been going crazy in terms of how quickly the prices have accelerated. There was a severe lack of inventory, which led to the price increases, and we've had people that wanted to get out of other areas, other states in the country where, let's say, the COVID policies were much more restrictive than they are here. People want to move from those areas to be here in Florida, where we have a much better standard of living when it comes to those COVID policies, and I think a great standard of living here anyhow. Even pre-COVID, we had great weather, no state income tax, low cost of living. Real estate was before COVID quite affordable. I mean, here again, COVID definitely drove the prices up, but so we're getting a lot of, and here again now with the war in Ukraine, we've had we had inflation problems. Now there's talk of a recession. Interest rates have spiked on mortgages, probably almost doubled. 30-year fixed mortgages have close to doubling. So a lot of that has led to a slowdown in the real estate market. And I had my business partner Anthony pull up some numbers today, and there's about 500 homes right now for sale in Hernando County, single-family homes, and at once.
Wow!
And that's not a lot. I mean, it's a lot compared to what it has been over the last year or two.
That's what I mean. 500 sounds like astronomical.
But it's really not. We need to have probably a couple thousand homes in MLS to have a really good, healthy. Because it takes probably maybe a year to build a home. And so if it takes a year to build a home, and if we're selling, let's just say we're selling a couple hundred homes a month, which we could, if we had the inventory, we could sell at least a couple hundred homes. We could sell several hundred homes a month. And we had inventory that's priced right, and that's been a discussion point as well. But a couple thousand homes is even maybe still kind of low for what we really need here to have based on the absorption rate and how long it takes to build a house. So if we're selling 300 homes a month and it takes a year to build a house, we need to have 3,600 homes on the market to have enough homes so everybody can, as they're building and coming online, you have 300 homes coming on, 300 homes going off. So you want to have a good, and that man, 3,000 or 4,000 can be kind of high, but at least a couple thousand homes, to have a good, healthy market. And here again, that number will vary depending upon, here again, how quick we can build houses, what the absorption rate is, all those things.
Absorption rate's important. I don't want to sidetrack you too soon in what you're saying, but I was like, with the inventory issue, if somebody like sprung up a huge community really fast, like think about like Starkey Ranch out in Trinity. You know, if someone like all of a sudden just boom dropped one of those out here and like built it out in like 4 months.
Then that's not remotely possible. You can't build out a Starkey Ranch in 4 months.
Okay, well, okay, all right. Let's just say, because I don't know. I know marketing. Don't come down on me so hard. Okay.
Well, no, I get your point. But if there was and there is a lot of properties that have been sold or under contract or been entitled, and there is the potential to have some of these big national builders coming in here because they've been taking down these big properties, getting them entitled, and in the next 5 years, you're going to see, barring any kind of major recession, you're going to see a lot of inventory get built here in this area.
Does that mean, like, is it better to, when you see the demand for supply, is it almost better to wait before you build? Because if you just quickly build and then it gets absorbed, won't that just sort of solidify that crazy high price?
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Is that a good question?
That's a good question. I got some. So I get this publication. It's a weekly publication called the Kiplinger Letter.
Okay.
And I really like Kiplinger. They are, in my opinion, a publication that is not getting distracted by the political mood or the political winds going on. They basically just report, economic information and do a very good job at it and keeping all the politics out of it. Or if they do talk about politics, they're pretty straight on with what's going on. They're calling it like it really is what's going on. So, but I want to talk about their housing forecast, and this is from their August 4th weekly publication. So let's talk about single-family starts. So for 2022, they're predicting a 8.3% drop for all of 22 for single-family home starts. But then in 2023, they're predicting a 1.3% increase.
Is that nationwide? Or is
nationwide, yes.
Nationwide, okay.
Multifamily starts, they're predicting a 15% increase for 2022, but then a 6.8% drop in 2023. New home sales, 16% drop in 2022, but then a 4.3% increase in 2023. The 16% drop was in 2022. I'm sure I said that right. 16% drop in 2022 and a 4.3% increase in 2023. That's new home sales. Existing home sales, 11.6% decrease in 2022 and a 2% increase in 2023. 30-year mortgage rates, 5.2% during 2022, dropping a little bit to 4.8 in 2023. And this is the big thing I want everybody to focus on. Year-end price change at 11% for 2022, positive, and a negative 1% for 2023. So
I'm expecting a 1%. Maybe I'm mishearing that. A 1% decrease in
values.
In values.
So
what value though is that's not listing. That's sales prices.
The value of the true value of your home, which is probably the sale. Which is not price. It is the sales price. The listing price. Take the last 2 or 3 years out. The listing price was, people typically will list their house a little high, just they got some room to negotiate, because everybody wants to negotiate. So people will list their house a little high to get room to negotiate. But the thing I want to point out there is the starts, and there has been a lot of pullback. There's been a lot of these national builders have been realizing that they're not selling as many houses. The foot traffic is down, but that's set to to not come back in a strong way, but to be positive in 2023. Home sales, new home sales, down 16% in 2022. That's because we're all reacting to inflation, reacting to the war in Ukraine, reacting to threats of a recession, reacting to high mortgage rates. But next year in 2023, it's going to be up 4.3%. Existing home sales down 11.6%, not in value, but in the number of units. So people here again you got new home sales in terms of the numbers, existing home sales in terms of the numbers down, and then here again, price changes. Still going to be a positive year for 2022 in terms of price changes, but then they're talking -1 or basically flat for next year. So this is the forecast as of August the 4th, and we've seen since the beginning of the year. We've seen a lot of changes this year in terms of, we come into the year, inflation was starting to rear its ugly head, but it's gotten really bad this year. The war in Ukraine has had an impact on energy prices. The energy prices are coming down, but at first it had a spike in energy prices. I think energy prices are coming down because our economic productivity is going down because we're moving in. I mean, I guess technically we were in a recession after the second quarter based on what the technical definition has been for decades. But the White House is saying we're not in a recession based on whatever kind of, whatever they're trying to say is their way of measuring it. But regardless, economic output is down, for the first 2 quarters of this year, and so that leads to, here again, people are dealing with inflation, so they got less money to spend on gas. Either gas prices are up, the actual consumption of gasoline is going down. That's leading to oil prices coming down. So all these different things are impacting our economy.
Gas prices went down when people were working from home and prices got super high. I can't believe it.
Yeah, really. So here again, I want people to focus on, we all think back to the Great Recession when we had a significant drop in home prices. We had massive foreclosures, in terms of the numbers of them nationwide. And, there was some lending guidelines that got changed at the very end of the 90s. And then that led to all these no document loans, liar loans they called them, mortgage-backed securities, all kinds of ways to get money in the system for housing. Well, after the Great Recession, all that changed, and now lending guidelines have become a lot stricter and back to the way they probably should have been, where they got true underwriting going on. People that are buying houses can actually afford them. They're putting money down, they're putting money into the house, and they have equity, so they got skin in the game. And so and we still have a severe lack of supply, not just overall as a country. We got a severe lack of supply in housing. So we're seeing these numbers fall off just because of all the other economic forces around us, but it still doesn't make up for the lack of supply. So that's why it looks like in 2023 demand is going to come back. It's not going to be back as strong as it has been for the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, but it's going to come back. So if you're thinking about about buying a house. Here again, nobody can predict the future. This is just a forecast, and so many things can impact the forecast, but I don't think we need to, in my opinion, think that housing is going off a cliff.
All right, well, before I sidewind this and spiral it out of control with my questions, what is the big point that you have for our listeners with all this? What is the big thing you want to leave with everybody?
So I think that, here again, I'm not saying that, everybody should just, housing's going to be great, let's keep spending money, and let's not worry about the economy. We all need to be aware of what's going on around us. We need to stay as nimble as we can financially, so we need to stay as nimble as we can financially, so we can be responsive to what's going on around us. But I've been hearing more people talk about a recession, which that's probably going to happen. That's a mild one, what we're hearing. And I hear people talking about, these investors talking about, I'm looking for all these foreclosures to hit the market. I'm going to scoop up like I didn't get a chance to do the last Great Recession. Well, that's not going to, based on where we're at today, that's not going to happen. So if you're thinking about buying a house, if you're thinking about building a house, here again, interest rates are probably, I shouldn't say never, but they when they were at 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, those were great rates. Could we get there again? Maybe. Probably not. But here again, historically, 5% mortgage is still pretty good. So here again, I'm not recommending that you buy more than you can afford, but overall, if you're holding out thinking that there's going to be all these foreclosures hitting the market, if you think prices are going to come way down, you're going to get a better deal next year. Here again, Kiplinger, who I have a lot of trust and respect for, they think that prices are only going to come down 1% next year after going up 11% this year. So here again, just a disclosure, that could change. A lot of things could change. Some kind of major geopolitical problem could make some major changes to that. These are just predictions as of today and forecasts as of today. And that's all we can really do is go on forecast and look at where the data's at today, and then if it changes in the future, we have to adjust then. But if you're buying a house that's going to be something place that you're going to live, you have to have a place to live. So if you were to overpay a little bit for a place to live, overpaying a little bit on a house is not bad. Is not something bad to overpay for. Here again, I'm not recommending you go out and spend more money than you can afford. But if you have to have a house, don't sit out there and think that you're going to get a 50% off deal next year. That's not going to happen.
As a marketing guy, I'm supposed to look at the data and kind of figure out directions. where's everything going? What are the benchmarks? What's the data? What's the data tell me?
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm hearing is, single family is kind of going away. Single family housing seems to be, I could be wrong, but based on what I'm hearing is the golden age of single family homes is kind of evaporating. And like what I predict, and I could be wrong, is a majority, maybe not majority is a strong word, a lot of people converting their houses to like ABs. Like
AB?
AAB, like A, mother-in-law suite.
Oh, okay.
Unit B, like people converting their garages and other things. Like I see, to offset all this, people that's just sociology, criminology. Economy creates crime. Economy creates reactions. And like me, I see, if I didn't sell my house last year, I would have converted my back garage and my back room into an L and rented out that whole portion,
Mm-hmm.
and just offset either half. And all of a sudden, we're all paying what we were paying like 2012 for rent, but with half the square foot,
I'm not saying you won't see any of those kind of things take place. I mean, as if inflation continues to, stay, it's eventually going to come down. I mean, inflation goes up and down, and we haven't seen this kind of inflation in the last 40 years. And so, with the things the Fed is doing, it's definitely going to come down. How quick is it going to come down? Where's it going to come down to? How long is it going to stay down? Remains to be determined. But that being said, as we continue to print more money, the value of the dollar is going to decrease. The buying power is going to decrease. I mean, just take a look at how expensive things have become in the last 40 years. What you could buy a house, what you could buy a house for 40 years ago, and how many square foot you got, or what you bought a car for, 40 years ago, and what you're paying today. Now, granted, the houses are bigger, the houses are nicer, they got more, bells and whistles, cars especially, all the electronics in the cars, but still, it's significantly, more expensive for the necessities, as you were talking earlier, a car and a home, compared to, someone's overall earning capacity in the course of a year. So, I wouldn't say the single family home is going away. I would just say there's probably going to be, over time, some more people living together, people building a mother-in-law suite, converting the garage into a mother-in-law suite. I think you will see some of that as people age and eventually all these government programs that we have are going to, we're already spending more than we make every year. So all these government programs that we have to take care of people, they're eventually going to have to get trimmed back. So people are going to have to start relying upon family more to take care of them.
I'm quoting discussions that I've had
Mm-hmm.
with just like friends. But from what I understand, like culturally speaking, like our country, or like I guess Western countries, like we're like some of the last cultures in the world to like have that single family in a home,
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just the world's kind of catching up with us. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've seen in my lifetime, I think I've seen a lot of quote unquote like golden ages kind of come to an end, like brick and mortar businesses, like retail with clothes, it's pretty much on Amazon now, like, or a lot of like window shopping, like Circuit City, things like that. Like they've kind of gone away.
Mm-hmm.
We've watched the internet become like the Wild West of information, debates, conspiracy. That's gone,
Mm-hmm.
and a year from now, and we don't have to go too deep in this topic, but data being openly available for people to study and strategize off of goes away in a year.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of just things, like I guess golden ages kind of going away, so.
And because getting back to real estate, people are always going to have a place to live. So what's that going to look like? Could there be more multifamily where you have families building and buying duplexes, so living right next to each other to take care of each other. That could happen. It can, building houses, having a mother-in-law suite or an extra room or two on the house to accommodate, live-in parents, whatever, that could happen. Or just having extra, you hear, a lot of people are doing Airbnb or VRBO, where they'll have a room over their garage. They have a detached garage room, and they'll rent out that room over the garage for $100 a night. People just passing through, or people on vacation. So, I think you are already seeing, people using technology as a way to promote what they have, a potential dwelling, to whether it be a full-time tenant or just people passing through, as a way to make extra money and to more efficiently use the real estate that they're not using. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you. We're going to see some transition, but I think you said earlier we're going to see the single-family home is almost like the demise of single-family home. I don't think we're ever going to see where they're going to go away.
That could be sensational.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think the word demise was.
Everyone should just. Hopefully everyone gets used to it. I could be a bit sensational at times.
I think the word demise was a bit strong, but I think we're going to see a shift. I think it's going to take a while, but I think we're going to. We will see a shift in housing patterns, over time.
Right. Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yeah, and.
If you want to give us a call, about real estate, if you have real estate questions, you're looking to buy or looking to sell, give us a call here at Suncoast CPA Group. And here again, I have a team of realtors at Berkshire Hathaway that I work with. And if you're looking for, to buy or sell a residential home, looking for commercial, industrial, looking for some land, if you're looking for to buy or sell a business, give us a call here. We've got people that can help you out and help you facilitate those transactions. So give us a call at 352-596-2883, or log on to the web at suncoastcpagroup.com, and there's a form there to fill out to get in touch with us and let us know what you're looking for, what kind of services you need from us. We'll reach out to you and schedule an appointment and get you in and get you taken care of.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Thank you.